Welcome, everybody. Good afternoon, and it's a pleasure to be here with you today. Welcome to the 10th Scalable Cities Café, featuring tackling barriers to citizen engagement in European cities. Before we jump into today's cafe, let me give you a little bit of a brief introduction, as in what is Scalable Cities. So Scalable Cities is an initiative of the European Commission that helps take smart city solutions beyond the pilot stage. Our mission is to scale up and replicate successful innovations tested across cities in Europe, which is exactly what we will be going through today. And we will share valuable knowledge and real-world examples, thanks to the experts that are here with us today, from the main cities leading the way. The Scalable Cities is a city-led community that comprehends lighthouse cities, fellow cities, and positive energy districts. Lighthouse cities pilot innovative solutions first, fellow cities follow these pilots, and positive energy districts are focused on sustainable urban energy systems. Today, our network counts with over 28 projects supported by EU funding and 142 unique cities working together to achieve the same goal and go towards climate neutrality. Scalable Cities is a project that dates back to 2014. And as you can see on the screen, all of these projects have received the European Commission backing. And this support continues throughout 2024 and 2025 with a strong focus on positive energy districts. Today's cafe focuses on tackling barriers to citizen engagement. And thanks to the presence of our experts and the insights that they will share with us, we will be able to understand a little bit more about the practical and systemic challenges that cities face when involving citizens in climate neutral initiatives. This cafe is part of a series. I welcome you to access the previous recordings or to participate to our last cafe at the beginning of June. We have been touching upon various themes of key urban transformation topics, and I personally welcome you and invite you to go have a look because they are truly interesting. Before we begin, a couple of housekeeping rules. So this session is being recorded. If you do not wish to appear in the recording, please turn off your camera. After the presentation and the discussion, we will have a Q&A for you to be able to ask specific questions to the experts. But if there's anything that pops up in your mind or any question that you want to ask as the discussion is going, please don't hesitate to raise your hand or drop it in the chat. We also have a way for you to interact with the experts and the conversation and discussion a little bit more. So I welcome you to join the Slido. And please give your input because your opinion is incredibly valuable to this discussion. Scan the QR code or join on slido.com by introducing the number after the hashtag. And without further ado, this hashtag will pop up into the presentation afterwards, so don't worry if you don't catch it now. Let me introduce today's speakers. And experts. So we have Ritva Salminiitty, who is a sociologist and citizen engagement expert with over 15 years of experience managing EU and national projects. She brings deep expertise in participatory governance, facilitation, and co-creation through her work in Horizon Europe, ERDF, and regional initiatives. Hyekyung is an architect and researcher with a PhD from Chalmers University of Technology and a Master's of Architecture. As a CEO of CitySync Solutions, she leads the R&D on co-creation and immersive visualization technologies for green and digital urban transitions. And Wolfgang is a scientist and facilitator with over 35 years of experience in urban development, spatial planning, and smart city strategies. He has a background in geography, planning, and organizational development, and he has led and advised numerous national and European projects. So welcome, experts. Thank you for being here with us today. The floor is yours to tell us a little bit more about your research.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I just briefly tell what we are working on. So this is our tasks or project overview. And we have 3 actually main tasks, and we have already implemented this document and literature review. So we gone through the not only research articles, but also deliverables and other materials from the projects. And now we are in this exploration phase, conducting a survey and implementing workshops and focus group discussions and interviews. And the result of our work will be launched, I think, during the June, and we will report our findings in the guidelines to other cities about how to tackle these barriers of citizen engagement. If you put next one. Yes, and Hyekyung can tell more about the ongoing survey. We don't hear you.
So the survey is very important for us since we need more participants for the surveys. So as part of our study, we have prepared a small survey for tackling barriers to citizen engagement in European cities, as observed in the smart city projects. So surveys based on our literature studies and documentary reviews on citizen engagement, barriers, and solutions. So the survey is to understand your opinions about the most important barriers and some kind of the best practical solutions to work on these barriers. So we have multiple choice questions where you can you can select your most important barriers, and also we have listed small scale, very practical like solutions that we have identified from our focus groups and also literature reviews. So you can choose which ones you would think would work the best. And of course, we have also Likert scale-based rankings. And we'll share this link of the survey at the end of the cafe session.
Yeah, next slide, please.
Yes, and this is our workshop part. We implemented first the first workshop and focus group discussion in Bari in positive project meetings. And during this workshop, we identified 11 most important barriers what the cities had faced. And if you put the next slide. We continued this work in Vilna in Mission City Conference just a while ago. And in that, we introduced all these 11 barriers, and the participants were voting which one is most relevant for them. And we chose 5 of these to more discuss in small table discussions. And you can see they are bold here. And just to give you brief examples of few of those, maybe you can put the next slide again. Yes, first barrier is the lack of trust, and the solutions, the small tables they created are the most important are these 3 groups. So that the first are direct contacts. It seems to be really important to create the trust by direct contacts, face-to-face contacts. And the examples, for example, from Dijon in France, they have people going door-to-door visits. And in Alkmaar, the housing company recruited a person who is available all the time in the local neighborhood. And also the site manager is easily available by person or by phone. And it was really important that it's open for the citizens to come and talk whatever they would like, not only about the project or the renovation or something like that, but whatever they want to talk about their neighborhood, they are welcome to come and discuss. And of course, some solutions are all these methods how to bring the sense of community, which is also really important, like different kind of community activities, or then this kind of utilizing peers, neighborhood ambassadors or mentors. And the third group of these solutions are how to create the reliability of cities' actions or project activities. Then some other example, maybe next slide, are from the other barrier.
Okay. So yeah, when you do all these actions, lack of impact, or more like perceived lack of impact, was coming into the third ranking in this ranking of importance of barriers. So the solutions proposed were that you should have very clear intentions for the citizen engagement. I mean, this was to increase the actual impact. Clear intentions for the citizen engagement. Why are they even invited? And yeah, when they ask why are we here, you should have very clear answers how the processes will be from these events to the result and implementation. But if the concern is only the perception of the impact, then of course the communication is the critical part that you have to improve. The communication should kind of be improved so that the impact should be felt rather than just reported and quantified at the city level. So another pathway to increase the real impact was to have actually the experts validating all the citizen proposals, so that you can actually implement them from the feasibility point of view that is financially viable and also legal to implement them with the regulations. And another critical suggestion was to actually finance the participation infrastructure and not each event or the project. So this means supporting collaboration pathways between the departments and external partners, and capacity building, and also increasing the facilities. So this is to increase the citizen engagement in the processes. Next.
Yeah. Next slide, please. In Vilna, we were confronted with this important target group issue, that we have different target groups which serve as a barrier, which needs then different approaches to cope with. There were then two solution groups mentioned. One was to involve the different groups actively. You must identify the different groups and the leaders in the neighborhood. You must identify and consider their different interests. You must secure the diversity in decision making by involving all those social classes which are living there. You must try to have a decentralized participation service, so that you can reach all these groups, reach the people which are involved in this project actively, easily. And you must merge somehow the different groups and show that this is important to have this collaboration. When we talk about communication, there was mentioned one must organize public events. It should be analog and digital ones. You must choose the appropriate places and time slots, e.g., for instance, during daytime for parents or people who have to care for children, and late evening events for professionals which come home late and they don't have time during the afternoon hours. You should involve key representatives of those different target groups which are working for you as ambassadors in the city, and you should use the different online and analog channels how they are appropriate to the different target groups. This can be social media, this can be schools, this can be clubs, this can be markets. And what is important, you should implement a progress monitoring to inform the population there, the inhabitants regularly, and maybe not only till the end of the project, but also after the project have stopped, to keep the people interested in these topics and to show them this has a long-lasting effect and not only this short-term results. You should establish feedback circles. These are also important learnings to reflect, to get this reflection of results from the different target groups to be prepared for the future, what can be improved and what shall be done. Yeah, this is the third barrier that we show here. Let's go further to the next slide, please. Yeah, what is our project then in the end? We shall come up with a synthesis of the outcomes with our reviews, with the workshop results, with the interviews, and in the end we will set up a guideline that is based on this synthesis. Yeah, next slide, please. I think now we are at the end of our first show, and yeah, we come to the next questions of the cafe. Eugenie?
Thank you, Wolfgang. Thank you, Hyekyung and Ritva, for your explanation on the research that you've been doing so far. Now I'd like to pass on the word to our audience, actually, to see a little bit what they think about what is happening in their city. So in which areas do you think citizen engagement has the greatest potential to create impact in your own city? What do you think? And yeah, I invite the experts as well to comment on the results that we will see appearing on the screen, and kickstart the discussion like this. Looks like for now we have a bit of a tie between the first two, definitely between the first three now. So I'm not sure if this already sparks something in the experts' minds. Ritva, Hyekyung, Wolfgang, would you like to comment a little bit on the first four?
I think this is a really nice solution, because I was thinking that citizen engagement should be creating impact in every field, I think, in city processes. And also it's this result indicates that it's really difficult to see how citizen engagement is integrated in development of energy and climate policies. It is a difficult task, and you can see it here too.
Well, I'm a little astonished that the shaping local climate and energy policies is not mentioned in this way to be important or to be the most impact to be considered. Maybe it is somehow the reason that the inhabitants, that the population in the cities, they think that they cannot have a big impact on their own on the local climate. Yeah, this could be a reason on this. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But improving public services and urban infrastructure, yeah, this is what the people think they can benefit from. So they are voting for this, and strengthening trust is also the important issue. One of the most important ones for implementing topics and for having acceptance increased from the which are by the citizens, and so that they will be in the future more interested and will stay with the project and will be informed and contributing to those activities.
Yeah, I guess that the best ideal situation would be to have all of the four in place. But if we want to go a little bit more into detail, as in what you've studied in the Scalable Cities projects so far, where have you seen, which areas have you seen where that citizen engagement has contributed the most to success?
I would say at first that maybe the contribution has been that cities had piloted or even developed, I think, new methods for citizen engagement during these processes. And because this project has been quite a lot of technical field, it has been a really challenging learning process for cities, how to cooperate with citizens with so technical themes. And that's also why I hope that all these results and achievements will further will be integrated in cities' normal processes afterwards, after the project, so that we don't lose these citizen engagement results. But I think this is one of the general achievement of this project, that cities had really tried something else than maybe earlier with the citizen engagement.
Well, when we think about the project itself, a lot of citizen engagement contributes to energy relevant topics, which is building retrofitting, which is energy efficiency improvement, installing renewable energy, PV as a heat pumps, and establishing these positive energy districts. Here it is important that the people are contributing, adapting their own flat or their own house to reduce their energy consumption and CO2 emissions. So requires investing their own money to contribute here to a larger project, and this is quite a challenge. And this is not easy for many of the people living in the area to take their money to invest it, and to have the trust that the whole project will bring a benefit for them, so that their money is not get lost. And without this active contribution of the citizens, such projects would not work at all. Yeah.
And in addition to these requirements for citizens to invest, there are a lot of projects which have focused on raising awareness. The energy, for example, is really far away, maybe from or abstract for citizens, and so the many project or citizen engagement activities have started to even reach out citizens and also even to raise interest to energy issues. So I think this is also very important. This part of the project have been the awareness raising.
What we have learned from the project, that the early projects, starting 10 years ago or so, there were more lightweight engagement activities observed. But what we found out and what we heard now from the projects is that citizen engagement must be planned and conducted in the same serious way as measure implementation. It must start early in the early stage of the project. It must last after the project has stopped with monitoring, and so that the people shall not just be seen as someone who is a little bit contributing, but that they must be really involved in these projects and involved in the steps of the decision making. And here communication is the key issue here to be successful. It's the analog communication and the digital one And successful means not only to fulfill the numbers, yeah, it's also to satisfy the people in the neighborhood, to establish trust, to ensure the collaboration in decision making and the acceptance of the decisions and the final implementations, I would say.
Yeah, so as Wolfgang pointed out, communication and communicating the impact, how the city's participation was implemented is really important. This is to increase the trust, which is lack of trust has been seen as one of the main challenges as the barriers of citizen participation in any kind of urban issues. So first, there needs to be a clear intention of the impact of a citizen engagement that which we discussed before, and also what has been quite pointed out as to increase the perception of the impact is to start from a smaller citizen participation and smaller implementation at the neighborhood level, that you can actually feel it and it's really tangible for the local people, changing their environment, immediate environment, rather than something like a big citizen participation project for a city level implementation, which is not immediately felt. So this was to, this was suggested as to increase the perception of the impact, thus increasing the trust, how their citizen participation was useful.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And this is, I guess this is great because it leads me to the next question, which is directed to you experts. If we're looking at the tools that actually work out there when we talk about citizen engagement, what have you come across in your research so far as being the most successful tools and effective tools for reaching out to the citizens?
Yeah, what we already has mentioned earlier, what we have seen in all of those projects is that the analog communication is the key necessity to bring those on board which are less confident, to get involved into decision making, or which are less clear about the whole thing here, and to be also unclear if I will be so if I have a benefit from this, yeah, so that the confidence to have a benefit must be strengthened all time, and this can only be done through communication, and it must be in this way quite analog communication, because when people are talking, they identify how the counterpart is reacting, how the counterpart is confident or less confident. And if you have a digital platform here, the people must be actively interact with this. Yeah, and if this does not happen, communication through a face-to-face activity is the only thing which helps there. So walking door to door or establishing community building events enhance the confidence to that these activities will have a positive effect for the community, also for the minority communities. Yeah, for instance, using clubs and group meetings and social houses where the people can meet, or social venues where that they have the possibility to interact with each other. This will help to inform and to involve the locals which are living there in the neighborhood.
I would like to address maybe two methods, which are those ambassadors. I think it has been used in several projects, these local neighborhood ambassadors, which means that they are voluntary citizens who are participating somehow to this project implementation and communication. And in Turku, there are same kind of method, which is called peer mentors. It's a little bit different than the ambassadors, but it has proved to be really important, this direct contact, which is a little bit surprising because I think EU is addressing more about this digitalization and EU platforms, but still these projects have faced the reality that direct contact is needed. And of course, these ambassadors and mentors, this kind of approaches, they are really close to citizens. And also it turned out that people are maybe even trusting more about the messages when they come through the neighbors or peers than if they come only from the city side.
Okay, so there are face-to-face tools, but also there's digital tools that cities are developing to reach out to the citizens. Of course, the people who are used to using the digital tools, they can be easily reached out, provided that they get the transparent information and data is provided, and they also require like applications to be informed and to participate, and if it's useful, then to be able to co-decision make or co-design the projects. So some of the digital tools, such as urban data platforms, they're supposed to be quite versatile in deployment for the citizen engagement, from the level of informing and to involving, consulting, and collaborating, and to empowering, especially combined with, I mean, it's not only urban data platforms, but also digital twins, especially in combination with visualization technologies, advanced ones, or just 3D visualization, virtual reality, augmented reality, and also integrating kind of simplified, user-friendly dashboards, city dashboards. You can provide informations, but you can also get input and feedbacks, and also co-create urban developments by suggesting. You can be kind of use it in different ways. And there are also community-led hackathons by the citizens, or even in the universities, research institutes. And there are direct citizen engagement mobile apps, such as energy apps, mobility apps, and there are even social medias that are used to reach out to the citizens. But since there are these kind of challenges remaining due to digital divide, which kind of prevents some of the groups to participate in these tools, and also the people are not aware that these tools actually exist. So that kind of renders that that to validate these inputs, so that to attract enough users per tools or per event to validate the input that is actually valid and useful. So that's the difficult part. But that's not only pertaining to the digital tools, it's also for the face-to-face events. So I'm not really sure if this could be considered as a tool, but incentivization for the citizens to participate in the events were kind of proposed as a useful methods to kind of attract the people to come and join the participation, such as giving out free use for public facilities like swimming pools or ice rinks, or different ways to kind of incentivize, like through small tokens of gratitude. Those are the tools that I can think of.
I can add here also, when you mentioned this attractiveness of the events. So in Turku, the mentors method, for example, was planned so that actually the citizens themselves create these events, and they think how to reach other residents and what will be good methods to make these themes attractive to citizens. And this has been quite successful idea, so that we in the project, we don't try to develop these events, but themselves.
Thank you, and thank you for your extensive responses. It was very, very interesting on my side, especially because right now I'd like to give the floor to our audience. and ask them, in their opinion, if they had to pinpoint the biggest barrier to citizen participation, what would it be? We've talked about this lack of trust that was mentioned by the experts, but I guess that it's also valuable to understand a little bit more from your perception, what you believe or what you've experienced to be the biggest barrier to citizen participation and engagement. As we did explore before, I invite the experts to maybe comment a little bit more about the biggest barriers and the response that we're receiving from the audience.
Yeah, when we look at this bar chart, the unclear impact, sure, this is all-time an issue which requires to have proper communication, and this is also a matter of lack of trust. Yeah, some people, they trust the community, what will happen in these projects, and but not so many. And so the topic remains unclear, and the people, they are sort of reluctant to contribute here, to involve themselves there. So this is quite a big barrier for them, and this is all a little bit a combination. Yeah, when you talk about unclear impact, this is lack of trust. Yeah. And so the participation is lacking too.
I would, sorry, what do you think?
My part was just about participation formats that exclude certain groups, because that was also identified as the most important barrier during our Net Zero conference. That, I mean, we kind of formulated slightly different, which was the different target groups need different approaches. So it's quite interesting to see it here. Actually, we asked during our meeting how to address these barriers and provide solutions for this. Yeah, do you remember some of the solutions? I will go back to my report and try to find some solutions.
Yeah, also the limited time was also one of the barriers that was pointed out in our workshop, which is here not recognized at all. But what I would like to say here is I think it's really nice and important to see that you can even identify here the reality that we have developed a lot of good citizen engagement tools and methods in past maybe 10 years. And so I think now the ball is more like thrown to the city. Like you see here, these two of the best or most voted are those that cities has to do something for the citizen engagement situation. So they have to, or public institution, they have to think how they can promote trust, and they have to develop more clear follow-up or institutionalize this, how citizens can have an impact in cities' policies. So I think it's really good way to go further, that more concentrate on what city has to do by themselves than not always thinking that why do not citizens participate.
So here I found the solutions that we kind of got from the Net Zero focus group discussions to increase the participation that is not excluding certain groups, which has different targets needing different approaches. So the solutions were creating digital public invitations, but also analog invitations. You have to kind of mix online and digital channels, targeting different groups such as schools, social media, and different markets. And also this has to do with reaching out to representatives or key informants in each target groups. So not to exclude certain groups, it's just to target different groups to increase the diversities. And also there was something about language barrier, that it could be a barrier in including diversity of the neighborhood groups. So this has to do also with decentralized participation surveys by neighborhoods and but by these communities that kind of the communities that have different needs and different challenges. Those were our the identified solutions for this particular challenge.
Thank you, Hyekyung. I'll connect my next question to what Ritva was saying, is in let's see what the cities should do and what the cities can do differently. So in your opinion, and for the research that you've conducted so far, what are the practical steps that city officials should take to move beyond the consultation towards a more collaborative government model with citizens? What can cities do to actually tackle that lack of trust that you've mentioned, or to?
Maybe they should at first value more this citizen engagement or the results of it, and engage citizens early enough, and also for some kind of innovation phase. I think we had in this project, we have researched now at least several of these examples where city has invited people to visualize or innovate some bigger themes, like in shopping center in Espoo or in Alkmaar, where there was the whole neighborhood, so that the citizen engagement, it's not only that citizens are invited to take part in the one limited part, but in the beginning also invite people to visualize and make some ideas how the bigger issue could be.
May I add a statement on this? I think it sounds easy to say citizen engagement, and there are some barriers. We have seen these 11 main ones, but we must here be clear that we have different groups of those barriers. We have the personal barriers, where the people are directly affected. We have the structural ones, which are on governance, etc., and we have those technical ones which refer to digital tools, to data. When we talk about the personal, then we have already mentioned lack of trust as one of those main things which has to be considered, which is weakening the confidence. The further one is lack of awareness of engagement opportunities because of poor outreach. This is part of communication that has to be addressed again, and the messages must be repeated multiple times and through various channels to have an impact. To have an impact in a way that the people are accepting activities, that the people are contributing, and the people are confident that knows what will happen or what has happened has an impact for them and has a benefit for them. I don't go into detail about these personal ones, but we have this institutional or structural barriers where we have to consider this framework for the transformation process, where all those activities are embedded. This refers to governance. This refers to mutual decision making, to the legal and regulatory structures which are necessary and which can enhance these activities. When you have a rule that the citizens must be always involved, in a certain way, then this will help the whole process, and this will help all processes in the country where you are talking, or in the cities and the areas, to have here a deep impact when the people are asked what they want, and when the people are asked what are the problems that have to be considered. And then we came to the technical barriers. This is the data transparency, but I think Hyekyung can go into detail here more than me.
Yeah, the technical barriers often are related to people not being able to participate in the prepared tools. I mean, first of all, the tools are not designed with the citizens, so the citizens are not aware that the tools exist. And since it's not designed with the citizens, often it's too complex. It's not very useful for the citizens, actually. And it's too technical to, I mean, these dashboards and user interfaces are designed too technically and complexes. So it has a big divide between who can participate and who can't. So in this aspect, it's very important to include the citizens from the design perspectives, and if the tool is actually useful for the citizens, and also that there are too many digital tools for the citizens to participate, which is creating this kind of fatigue in conjunction to the lack of trust that they are not, there's no transparent information about how their input will be actually used, or if it's even useful. They're just participating in many different channels, which makes them not to put too much effort into actually contributing. So they just select several proposals or choices without thinking, since they are not aware how it's going to be implemented. If it's, even their time could be a waste in the matter. So in that sense, increasing the transparency and enhancing the communication, and also designing the tools with the citizens from the early stages, so the tool is actually perceived useful, and not just that we have technology here and we want you to use it, so we have made these tools. Why don't you participate using these tools? That's kind of lacking the strategies how to involve them. So
also consistency is really important, so that cities could organize some regular meetings, so that people don't have to think when there is a possibility to participate, but they already know early enough that it will come, for example, every month or every second month, and so that people can trust to that. And also what I would suggest is that these results of citizen engagement processes should be more binding to politicians, so that if they do not have a real impact, then maybe you can think twice, is it worth organizing this kind of events? But usually I think the regularity is something that is missing, that it comes when some issue comes onto the table, and then you invite people and they never know when it will be the possibility. So
yeah, but I think that this is also the reason that the earlier projects made some problems, not necessarily smart city projects. Any other project in the city where the people have the experience what happened, and did this have an impact or not, and this is somehow enlightening the next projects. When the old ones did not work, the people don't have trust into new projects and stay by side. So it's a large heavy work to come to the step that the people have trust again. And I think it is not only the fault of the projects that have been set up within these smart city activities, but it is in general the default of the governance structure from earlier days. Yeah? So it's quite a problem that has to be solved over time. It takes time. Yeah.
Thank you so much for this overview and your responses. I just wanted to, I'm a bit conscious about time, so I just wanted to give the space to our audience in case there's any question that you want to ask our experts. Please feel free to either raise your hand, chip in, or write it in the chat. And I also encourage you to participate or comment in the LinkedIn posts that we've been sharing, especially of this cafe. There is a possibility of reaching out to the experts later. I'm gonna give a couple of seconds to see if there's anybody that has a question. And if not, I definitely have a question for the experts before sharing again the survey QR code. I was wondering, like in your research so far, what has been the most amusing example that you've come across that you've said, okay, I never thought this could work, but it actually did? Is there a specific example from Scalable Cities that you thought it was a bit unusual, or you were very interested in how well it worked? I know we've already mentioned a couple of examples of success, but I wanted to see if there was a possibility of taking it a step further and going a bit more into depth.
Well, I can add here a statement. It's not so much amusing. One thing is amusing, maybe. In Hyekyung, I think it was that they have added incentives to make the people working in those projects. It was this positive project, which is still running, and that they have that they gave to the citizens tickets for ice skating. Yeah, a simple thing, a simple little incentive, which was somehow helping the people to get some trust, to have a little fun there, and to remember that this fun comes from the city, from this project. Yeah? So this is what I say, a little thing that I find amusing, but astonishing. I find also the issue in positive, that there is a neighborhood, a social housing area, where there was the plan to turn this down, to move the tenants out of those houses, turn it down, build new houses, and let the people coming back to those houses. And the people had the trust and they accepted. Yeah? There was a company, a social housing company, which was doing this, and they had a person staying there every time, 7 days possible to reach him by phone, by staying there around, and this was the person who built the trust of this private company, to help bringing the people out of these old houses. And finally, that they were writing, they are so happy that they have accepted this way, yeah, and that they are now living in heaven. This was really the wording that was placed by the people there, because of removing the old housing, building new ones, and having a positive energy district there. which is in the end reducing their energy bills, and which is in the end not so much raising their costs for the rent. So this was a big surprise to me, I must say. The most surprise I found.
I also remember what Wolfgang said about these incentives for free skating, and I think that it was addressed for young people, and I think the request was that they are listening for some presentation for, was it half an hour, and then they get the ticket for free skating. So I think that was actually quite fun idea.
For me, my observation is more like a meta observation. When I was reading all these reports, there are no stories about failed citizen participation kind of efforts. I think it would be quite interesting to actually learn from the failures, why such things failed, because now we're at the stage of testing out different methodologies. So yeah, that was my observation, that maybe it's also important to highlight the failures and learn from it rather than just go for the successful implementation, which is also very generically described. Like, yeah, be transparent. It's really hard to understand how and which way, which aspect, exactly which steps to take. So I think those were my observations that were quite interesting based on the literature study and also focus group discussions and these reports.
Actually, in one deliverable, I think it was Sparks deliverable, there was a mention that they organized one workshop and no one participated. That was one remark also what I found out.
Maybe because they didn't have an ice skating incentive that I would have definitely loved to take part in. Yeah. But thank you very much for this incredible discussion. I want to remind the audience that they do have the possibility to participate and contribute to the survey until May 31st, to the end of the month. So please do so.
Please.
Exactly. There's this QR code and the link, and we will also be sending you this link personally. Don't hesitate to reach out to us as well and to engage with us on social media. The tags, you can see them there. And I wish you a lovely rest of the day. And thank you so much for joining this session. Thanks to the experts.
Thank you.
Thank you again. Bye.
Bye-bye.